What is your impression of Taiwan?
Beautiful country and beautiful people.
There's a big neighbor next to Taiwan who has spoken very aggressively about possibly invading or taking Taiwan by force.
These challenges have made them more resolute, and it has brought a lot of strength for them from within. Like post-COVID, we find the aggression much more, and because see, life has so many challenges today. It's just a matter of bringing the positive energy in people's life. If there is a third world war, it will be on water.
Hello and welcome to Connected. I'm Divya Gopalan. Indian spiritual icon Sri Ravi Shankar is globally known as an ambassador of peace and a humanitarian leader. He is the founder of the Art of Living Foundation, a meditation institution with centers in over 180 countries. Sri, as he is known, recently visited Taiwan for a series of events focused on transforming stress into useful energy. I caught up with him in Taipei for an exclusive interview. I started by asking him to give us his definition of the art of living.
The main goal of Art of Living is to make people realize life is there to celebrate, to increase positivity in one's life and to enable one to handle the challenges in life. See?
You call yourself an accidental guru. Can you first tell me what that means? And do you think most of us are accidental in what we end up doing?
In some way, yes. You don't expect to do things that you don't plan, but it starts happening. Something big happens in your life, and that benefits so many people. And you say, yeah, it's either you call it's by accident, or you call it by luck, or by providence, or in a grand plan of the nature.
One of the things that is very apparent is that you have a big following. A lot of people look to you for advice and direction in their lives. How do you deal with that kind of, I guess, responsibility? And how do you feel about having this kind of pressure and this kind of people expecting the answers from you?
Do I look pressured?
No, you don't. That's why I'm asking.
Yes, some questions have no answer, but it's a wonderment. Simply have to wonder how. Sometimes I myself wonder with my schedule. In this 1 month, I am visiting 14 cities and in about 10 countries. And then I'm used to this, and I'm just myself. So whatever happens, then there is that potential, and that's how it's happening.
And why did you decide to come to Taiwan on this tour?
Yeah, I've been coming to Taiwan from quite some time. I think 30 years now, 33 years even more. So I've not been here for a long time now, for 9 years. So I said, and all the people here, practitioners, they all wanted me to come. They've been asking. Every year, big group of people from here do visit us in Bangalore and also in US. So this time I decided to include Taiwan in my tour.
I know you usually don't have time to actually visit places when you come and do your tours, but what is your impression of Taiwan?
Beautiful country and beautiful people. And people are so good, so enthusiastic, and it's heartwarming to see. I feel at home. Wherever I go in the world, I feel absolutely at home. I never felt I'm foreigner in any country. And people also treat me that way. Nobody thinks I'm not from their country or I'm from a different culture. Nowhere. So we feel such closeness and connectivity.
As you know, people in Taiwan are living under quite a, I would say, unusual,
stressful and
environment. Exactly.
Environment and uncertainty.
Absolutely, and this is down to the fact that there's a big neighbor next to Taiwan who has spoken very aggressively about possibly invading or taking Taiwan by force. How do you feel people should cope with that?
I think by now people are very used to it here in this country. It's not a new thing for Taiwan. It's happening since I knew Taiwan, since last 35 years. So in some way, yeah, these challenges have made them more resolute, and it has brought a lot of strength for them from within. And anything could happen any time. But these days, you know, what I see world over, not just in Taiwan, the younger generation are swinging in two opposite directions. One is either they are very aggressive or they get depressed. Mental health has become a biggest challenge in the world today. And that's where our programs and our practices have become immensely helpful and very popular. And people have done this program here. Hundreds and thousands of people in Taiwan have undergone this. Our sky breathing exercise, sky programs, meditation, and it has helped many people. But still there is a long way to go when we see the challenges in the world. You know, as I said, the two extremities of life, either aggressive behavior or depression, have to be gotten rid of. And that's where art of living is playing a big role in the world.
Why do you think it's gotten so polarized in that sense now at this point in time? Because you say it's nowadays that this is happening. Why is that?
I mean, I think post-COVID, we find the aggression much more. And because, see, life has so many challenges today. People are in social media pressure, and then there is pressure to perform, and name it. You have many challenges, and people don't know how to cope up with it, because nowhere, neither at home nor in school, you learn how you can manage your stress level, how you can increase your energy level, how you can move through the negative cloud that you face in your environment. That education is missing. That's where now we have, when we started this 44 years back now, it has grown world over, and in universities and colleges we are teaching. In US alone we are teaching in 108 universities. So when people learn these techniques about breathing, about meditation, about how to manage different situations, how to communicate better, and how to tap the intuitive impulse within us. So we all, every human being is endowed with intuition, but we have never harnessed that. And again, creativity is another thing. You know, we have a lot of creativity from within us, but we don't know how to tap into that. All these can be, just matter of training.
I think there would be some skeptics who say, you know, that there's such huge problems in the world, and you in your teaching comes back to breathing. That's something we do every day and constantly, and should be able to do it quite naturally, and meditating as a solution. Why do you think that can be a solution, or that can help?
You see, when we started, as I said, 44 years ago, there was so much skepticism and cynicism about everything, about meditation, about yoga, about breathing. But today that's not the case. Today, world has accepted. They see wellness is very essential, and these techniques form the basis of wellness. You need to feel well, you need to find yourself energetic, whether you are a CEO or you are a blue collar worker, you see. And so all these techniques, it's not just only breathing, we teach a number of techniques. We have actually 57 different courses tailor-made for different sections of society. We have taught 800,000 people in the prisons alone. So we need almost everywhere. The schools and colleges, attention deficiency is a very big issue. See, if there is no breathing, there is no life. All right. The first act in life we do is we take a deep breath in, and the last act is we breathe out. And yet we have not been taught anything about breath. We have been taught dental hygiene. It's a simple thing. Every day you brush your teeth twice a day. But you have not been taught how to manage the mind. Right? It's a mind that is responsible for all your actions and all your perception and your expression. And that education is missing, and art of living is filling that gap, bridging that gap that is most important.
You travel around the world a lot, speak to all kinds of people. You've also been involved in conflict resolution, peace building. But when you, and maybe it's because I'm in news, but when you look at the papers, when you hear about what's going on in the world, it seems like there's far more conflict than ever. The world is going in a direction perhaps not towards peace. Is that just my perception as someone in news, and is it because of the access of social media, or is that really the direction the world is heading?
You know, there has been war in the world at different times. We had issue, just neighbor here in Vietnam, we had such a big issue. We had issue in Cambodia. We had many such issues around the world, but they were not as publicized as the current situations are today. See, there has been war, India, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan, Bangladesh, all this. There has been many issues in the world. But because of the social media, the awareness of it is much more highlighted today. And it's a serious issue, no doubt. As I said, trust building is essential now. There is a perceived threat. The threat perception is one of the reasons for war. I would say war is the worst act of reason, WAR. So you talk to both the parties. If you speak to Russian, you find they have a reason, and if you speak to on the other side, Ukraine, they said they are correct what they are saying. Again, here as a lot of communication gap, threat perception, which may not be correct. You need people who are wise, who are neutral, who understand both the parties, and bring them together.
And you've done that, particularly in Colombia, I think would be an example that
Yes,
many
yes.
people know about, with where you spoke to the FARC rebels and the government and managed to get consensus. Firstly, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we have been working in Colombia for the internally displaced people. 2 million people were displaced, and we have been doing trauma relief work them and help them to get back on track. And the government of Colombia gave me an award, this highest civilian award for that. Of course, the work was done by all our volunteers. When I went to receive that award, it's a formal handshake with the president, which was supposed to be 5 minutes, but we sat for more than 50 minutes. Then the president said his concern that he had decided to go to cleanse the whole thing, bombed the area, and he said he was very concerned that if we take this, 40,000 lives will be lost. Then I offered him, why not I go and talk to the people. He said they don't listen because every day they are bombing, and it is senseless violence. But anyway, I went, I told him, he said, welcome, any help is welcome. So I went there to Cuba, Havana, and I met with them and spoke to them. We breathed together, we meditated together, and there is a big transformation. And the third day, they came with me to the press conference and announced unilateral ceasefire and accepted the Gandhian principle of non-violence. I told them, yes, I understand you. You are there for social cause. And they agreed, you know. But I said, but you should leave the path of violence, eschew the path of violence, and come to mainstream, form your political party. They did all that. I think it just the mental block that people face because of their past experiences, that they are unable to communicate with others. And
so, what do you think fundamentally changes with breathing and meditation? What changes?
Breathing, it just brings clarity to mind, number one, and then relieves one of stress. On top of that, it's a person who is dealing with the conflict. They know, they trust somebody who has nothing to gain from that. I say, I don't belong to a political party or any particular side, so you know, then they could see that from a different perspective. It's just a matter of bringing the positive energy in people's life. That's the spiritual energy. They said, you know, this was lacking in our movement. The spiritual energy was lacking. And when they got it through meditation, through these talks, they were, you know, they did the forgiveness process. They sat in front of the people whose families were affected, were victims, and they asked them forgiveness. Ask for forgiveness.
That's really powerful. And in that sense, have you made any overtures towards Russia or any towards the Israel-Hamas war, the parties involved? Has that been?
Well, it's too early for me to say anything in this direction. Our people are active in all these fields, yeah.
Given that, I know you're going to Hong Kong. Are there any plans to go to mainland China?
Not in this trip, though, no.
Not in this trip. This might be a little bit negative to say, but I believe in our lifetime we are not going to see world peace. What is enough for you?
Well, the senseless violence is no good for anybody, and especially people at the helm of the affairs. If they are not having the broad perspective about life, if they're not compassionate, if they don't see the whole world, the humanity as part of their family or part of themselves, then they are not going to allow peace to exist anywhere. So it is needed, it's much needed today for people to have that broad mindset. The narrow mindset is an issue in the world. And I wish our younger generation also imbibe this, and as they climb the ladder of responsibility in the world, whether it is environment or social justice or taking care of politics or even the field of medicine. Greed kills all the good values in society. It destroys an individual and the society. So that's where we need to bring ethics everywhere and sort of create more awareness.
You mentioned the environment. What is it that you're trying to instill among the people you speak to about climate change or conserving our environment?
Water. If there is a third world war, it will be on water, I tell you. Because water is very, very, water is life. But the way we are polluting water, the way we are misusing water is appalling. And that's where we are very active in environmental, to remove the environmental degradation. We have planted millions of trees around the world, and we encourage people to rejuvenate water bodies, water sources, clean air, clean water, and clean earth. These are the three things, and clean energy. Art of Living is very active in this environment.
Can you see us being able to turn around the damage we've done?
Yeah, of course. We have seen that happening in India. We have done. In India, we have rejuvenated 70 odd rivers. It was just on the map of the revenue department. Actually, there was no river there. Now you see water is flowing there, and the farmers are so happy. Their lives are uplifted. And so the government, the provincial government in many parts of India, we have signed an MOU with them to train the farmers in chemical-free farming, natural organic farming, by which they're saving the soil, they're benefiting by themselves by growing more food. Their production has increased 3-4 times. And then, there was a lot of farmer suicide happening in India. That has also come down drastically with our efforts. So, you see, when a person is not in his good mindset, he doesn't even care for himself or herself, let alone environment. You see, a depressed person, how they live, they don't even keep their own room clean. Forget about them, they care for the world. That's why I say mind stuff is very, very crucial to be attended to here in order to see when the environment getting better.
TaiwanPlus was launched in a place where the space for freedom of expression is shrinking. In many parts, governments are cracking down on people being able to speak freely. Our channel was launched in hope that it would speak for many people who are not allowed to have their voice. Can you tell me how important it is to have this kind of a freedom of expression, and whether you feel that the world is closing that space?
That's a basic right of human beings, whether their opinion is right or wrong. They have a right to speak and express it. That's what brings a contrast, If someone may be talking some ignorant stuff, but that gives contrast. It's a contrast for some wise advices. So, to even recognize something good, you need something that's not so good, right? So, people should speak out. That's very necessary. Freedom of speech, something very, very important. At the same time, I would say in the same breath, nobody has any right to hurt others through the speech. Many places people take freedom of expression as misuse it as a way to hurt others' sentiments and feelings. I would say that should not happen, because it's the word that can bring peace, it's the word that can bring joy, it's the words that can hurt people and make them depressed. So we have to be careful how we use the freedom of our speech and our expression. Human beings are endowed with power to speak, power to express. We must express. And I would say in India, for example, from or even all the Orient, it has been emphasized for centuries. Even in the ancient scriptures, it says, express yourself. Even if you are not, an atheist can also express it. Even atheist is given a dutiful respect and place in the ancient society. From Vedic times, from millions of years, let's say people can voice their feelings, their emotions, their thoughts, and that should not be restricted. This is one difference, I would say, between the Orient and the Occident. In the Occident, its blasphemy laws are there. If you say something against a particular idea or scripture or a concept or a theory, it is blasphemous. But this blasphemous thing is never there in the Orient, whether it's the Indian philosophy or Chinese philosophy, Japanese, Shintoism, all these cultures, philosophies in the world, freedom of expression is taken for granted. It's common. You don't even say you need it. It's there as part of your upbringing.
It's a shame that so many places have moved away from these ancient philosophies. My final question to you is, and we touched on it briefly, but your message to the people of Taiwan. You said they're used to living under these conditions with the constant shadow of possible invasion. But what would your message be to the people of Taiwan to deal with this kind of stress?
Find the inner strength. Spiritual strength will help you to overcome anxieties, uncertainties, and all type of tension. Meditation will bring you that inner strength. 谢谢，我爱你。
And that was our exclusive interview with spiritual leader Sri Ravi Shankar during his recent visit to Taipei. If you enjoyed today's episodes or have anything you'd like to add to the dialogue, do join the conversation on our social media. And remember, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay connected.